On the icy winter nights of ancient Scandinavia, when the northern wind howled through endless pine forests and the world was shrouded in darkness, there existed a magic so enigmatic and formidable that even the bravest Viking warriors trembled at its mere mention. This was Seiðr, a forbidden art, whispered about in fear and awe, believed to carry the power to change fate itself and bring about catastrophic wars. But what made Seiðr so terrifying? Why would a single form of magic be capable of overturning the very order of Viking society? To unravel this mystery, we must journey deep into the heart of Norse mythology and Viking culture, exploring the origins, powers, dangers, and legacy of Seiðr, the forbidden magic. Long before the rise of the Viking Age, in the shadowy mists of prehistory, the Germanic tribes practiced a variety of mystical arts. Among these, Seiðr emerged as something extraordinary, a complex, seductive, and treacherous system of magic. Unlike simpler spells or rituals, Seiðr demanded both skill and daring. It was an intricate tapestry of knowledge, woven from the threads of prophecy, manipulation, and spiritual transformation. As Viking civilization flourished between the 8th and 11th centuries, Seiðr reached its zenith, becoming both revered and reviled. Legend claims that it was the goddess Freyja, patroness of love, war, and magic, who first wielded Seiðr. Freyja, with her wisdom and beauty, is said to have taught this art to Odin, the Allfather and chief of the Norse gods. Yet, even mighty Odin, whose thirst for knowledge was insatiable, paid a steep price for learning Seiðr. He sacrificed one of his eyes, surrendering a part of himself to gain the deeper wisdom necessary to master this enigmatic magic. Through Odin and Freyja, Seiðr entrenched itself at the very heart of Norse mythology, forever entwined with the destinies of gods and mortals alike. To understand why Seiðr inspired such fear, we must explore the formidable powers it bestowed upon its practitioners. Those who mastered Seiðr, called Seid Kona if female, Seid Madr if male, wielded abilities that seemed to defy the natural order. Foremost among these was prophecy. The Seiðr master could peer into the threads of fate, glimpsing the outcomes of battles, the deaths of kings, and the destinies of entire lineages. In a world where honor and fate defined life and death, the ability to foresee the future was not just a curiosity, it was a weapon. A well-timed prophecy could sway the course of a war, elevate a chieftain, or doom a rival house. But Seiðr went beyond mere foresight. It offered the power to manipulate minds and hearts. With carefully woven spells, the Seiðr practitioner could instill love, hatred, fear, or loyalty in others, turning friend against friend or enemy into ally. The ability to twist emotions and thoughts made Seiðr a tool for both subtle diplomacy and ruthless sabotage. Even more sinister was Seiðr's reputation for inflicting illness and death. Through curses and incantations, a skilled Seiðr practitioner could bring inexplicable maladies upon their foes. Victims might waste away, struck down by ailments that no healer could cure. Death could come quietly, mysteriously, leaving survivors to whisper of sorcery and dark intentions. Perhaps most otherworldly of all, Seiðr was believed to enable the practitioner to send their soul forth from their body. In this trance-like state, they could travel unseen across great distances, spy on enemies, or even take on the form of animals. This spiritual journey, called Hummingjá, blurred the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual, granting Seiðr users a reach that extended far beyond the limitations of flesh. With such powers, why would Seiðr be forbidden? The answer lies at the core of Viking society. Among the Norse, ideals of masculinity, strength, and honor were paramount. The Vikings idolized the warrior, bold, forthright, and unafraid to meet his fate in open combat. Seiðr, by contrast, worked in secrecy and subterfuge through manipulation and indirect action. It was considered ergi, a term laden with shame and the implication of unmanliness. This stigma was not mere social prejudice. In Viking culture, gender roles were clearly defined, and the practice of Seiðr was predominantly associated with women. Men who engaged in Seiðr were seen as transgressing the boundaries of gender, adopting traits and practices considered feminine. Such men risked social ostracism, mockery, or worse. Even Odin himself, for all his power, was sometimes criticized in myth for learning Seiðr, a testament to the deep unease the magic inspired. Beyond issues of gender, Seiðr posed a threat to the established order. The ability to manipulate fate and minds gave its practitioners power that rivaled kings and chieftains. A skilled Seiðr user could undermine alliances, foster betrayal, and topple rulers. The traditional structures of power, built on strength, loyalty, and honor, were vulnerable to subversion by those who wielded Seiðr's insidious influence. Moreover, Seiðr's reliance on deception and hidden action ran counter to the warrior ethos. The Vikings prized directness, courage, and transparency in their dealings. Seiðr, with its secret rituals and invisible workings, was seen as cowardly and dishonorable. To fight with sword and shield was glorious. To wield magic from the shadows was suspect, even vile. Perhaps the most vivid illustration of Seiðr's destructive potential appears in one of Norse mythology's foundational tales, the war between the gods, known as the Seiðr War. The story begins with the arrival of Gullveig, a mysterious sorceress, at the halls of the Seiðr gods. Gullveig was a master of Seiðr, wielding her magic to sow greed and discord among the gods. The Seiðr, alarmed by her power and the chaos she caused, tried to destroy her, not once, but 3 times. Each time, Gullveig rose from the ashes, more formidable than before. Infuriated and threatened, the Aesir's repeated attempts to kill Gullveig ignited a war with the Vanir, the rival tribe of gods to which she belonged. The conflict raged across all 9 worlds, bringing devastation and upheaval. Only through a hard-won truce, sealed by the exchange of hostages and the sharing of magical knowledge, did peace return. This myth, while fantastical, reflects the very real anxieties of the Viking world. That Seiðr, unchecked, could incite chaos, shatter alliances, and plunge societies into war. As the centuries passed, the fate of Seiðr became entwined with the sweeping changes that transformed Scandinavia. The coming of Christianity, beginning in the late 10th century, marked a turning point. The new faith, with its strict doctrines and suspicion of all things pagan, condemned Seiðr as witchcraft, an abomination to be stamped out. Christian authorities hunted down those accused of Seiðr, branding them servants of the devil. Punishments ranged from exile to execution, driving the practitioners of Seiðr ever deeper into secrecy. Yet, despite the relentless persecution, Seiðr did not vanish entirely. Its echoes lingered on, woven into the fabric of Scandinavian folklore. Rural communities preserved old customs and rituals, sometimes without even realizing their origins. Tales of witches, wise women, and shapeshifters carried fragments of Seiðr through the generations, coloring the region's myths and superstitions. The legacy of Seiðr also endured in the sagas and epics of Iceland. These stories, meticulously recorded by medieval scribes, captured not only the deeds of heroes and gods, but also the shadowy arts that shaped their fates. Through these sagas, knowledge of Seiðr survived the flames of religious intolerance, offering glimpses of a once feared and forbidden power. In modern times, a revival of interest in Norse paganism has sparked new curiosity about Seiðr. Practitioners of neo-pagan and heathen traditions seek to reclaim the lost wisdom of their ancestors, reconstructing rituals and exploring the spiritual dimensions of this ancient magic. For some, Seiðr is a path to personal transformation and connection with the divine. For others, it is a symbol of resistance against the erasure of indigenous traditions. But Seiðr's story is more than a tale of magic and mysticism. It is a profound reflection on the nature of power, fear, and human ambition. In its heyday, Seiðr offered the promise of control over destiny, the ability to shape the world according to one's will. Yet, as the myths and histories remind us, such power came at a terrible cost. Those who sought to bend fate risked unleashing forces beyond their control, with consequences that could ripple across families, kingdoms, and even the realms of the gods. The cautionary tales of Seiðr warn of the dangers inherent in seeking dominance through manipulation and deceit. They speak to the enduring human fascination with secrets, the allure of forbidden knowledge, and the perils of overreaching. Even today, in our age of science and reason, the specter of Seiðr lingers, a reminder that the darkest aspects of human nature can manifest in subtle, insidious ways. Perhaps we will never know the full truth of Seiðr. The rituals, chants, and mysteries have been lost to time, scattered among the ruins of ancient temples and the faded manuscripts of long-dead scribes. Yet the legend endures, captivating scholars, storytellers, and seekers alike. In the shadows of history, Seiðr whispers its secrets, inviting those bold or reckless enough to listen. Thus, the saga of Seiðr is not merely a relic of the distant past. It is a living testament to the complexities of power, the tensions between tradition and change, and the enduring allure of the unknown. In the end, Seiðr challenges us to reflect on our own relationship with power, our fears of the unseen, and the boundaries we dare not cross. Within the icy mist and ancient forests of Scandinavia, amid the echoes of battle cries and the murmurs of lost gods, the forbidden magic of Seiðr continues to cast its spell, a warning, a temptation, and a mystery waiting to be unraveled.